what they wanted the nuts and bolts of the operation to be. The main one being wanting to serve banquets and serve in the dining room simultaneously without there being any effect on the service and the quality of food. Once we determined that, after listening quite a lot and asking questions, we came back with what we offered to be the recommended space. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have heard the formula of 30%, 40% of the dining spaces. That's actually the step two. The square footage of the dining spaces is based on the seating. So it's based on the amount of people being served at the same time. Industry rule of thumb is anywhere from 25 to 40% of that space we need to allocate for kitchen, support, storage, and the circulation wait station. So we launched from that point. That was the starting point because of so much activity expected with so many people all at once and the different functions that need to happen seamlessly. So that is how the formula started. We got our space, and fortunately it was a rectangle, so we actually didn't use as much as what we asked for. So it came down because we were able to maximize on our preliminary layout. We maximized all the space without having any dead areas. We were actually one time at a country club given a parallelogram, and that didn't work that well. There was a lot of wasted space. So some of the more big picture items that we look at once we've ascertained the menu and what needs to happen as far as breakfast, lunch, and dinner, the style of service, banquets. There's a want to be able to serve sit-down dinners for 200 people. Okay, well, we look at our space and we start as if we're a piece of food. We come in the back door and we follow the food. So the flow of the kitchen, without any cross-traffic, follows how the food goes. It comes in the back door, it goes into storage, so we size the refrigeration and the dry storage areas. From there, the food goes into prep, so we have hot and cold prep. In your case, you'll have a hot prep because of the banquets, which can be done at the same time that the restaurant is being prepped up. From prep, then the food goes into production, and that's your hood, that's your cooking, that's where the food is being prepared, getting ready to serve. From production, we go to service. That's your servers coming into the kitchen, picking up the food, and going out. From there, it comes back in, the food is gone, but we have plates. Then we go into dishwashing. And in the case of this club, dishwashing is going to be quite a hub because you're going to be having multitude of plates coming from banquets and the dining room at the same time. So that's the overall picture, and we can get into some of the small picture items, which I won't go into a lot of them right now, but there's things like cross flow of traffic when it comes to cooks and servers and prep. The idea being that you minimize steps and you minimize traffic, but you maximize your space. So we only want a 3-foot aisle if we only have one person there. If we have 2 people there, we want a 6-foot aisle. Everybody needs their space. We don't want people crashing into each other. We don't want that haggard server that served you at a restaurant that was brand new, but they didn't have a good layout. We want the staff to be happy. We want them to love their job. We want their life to be comfortable. We want there to be plenty of storage. These are all things that we think about when we lay out your kitchen and bar. When Sarah showed Heritage Oaks on the screen, I wish she had had a before and after shot of the kitchen, because we did that kitchen, and that was a builder club that had a kitchen that was just kind of stuck in there as an afterthought, and when it was taken over by the members and they wanted to upgrade to have the revenues of doing banquets and serving 2 dining rooms at the same time, that's exactly what we did. We added storage, we added a second line, we added office space and some of those things that they did not have. And I was just in there last week, and they're still happy. So I had a little warm feeling when I saw it up on the screen. So I look forward to doing the same for your club. It's an exciting project, and I look forward to any questions that you might have. afterwards.
Thank you so much. Very, very much. Paul? I'm going to talk about the impacts the food and beverage operations will have if we go through with the expansion plans. First, we'll start with a little history. Prior to 2011, the operation was losing about $140,000 to about $160,000. 2011, the operation lost about $98,000, so we made some headway. 2012, we've lost $80,000, and in 2013, we're going to lose about the same, what we're projecting. Clubhouse expansion downtown. What do we anticipate? We anticipate 6 to 7 months of downtime, tentatively mid-April through mid-November. We anticipate keeping about 45 to 50% of the existing payroll levels and key staff members. We will offer basic food and beverage service to the pool and to the community center, so we will have some revenue coming in. The cost of sales of the operation and the operating costs will be lower. We're not buying as much food. We're not fixing, repair and maintaining equipment, so our operating expenses will be a lot lower. The majority of our losses happen from May through October. So of all these facts in place, at the end of the day, we'll probably still be losing the same amount of money if we were running full-fledged. The next slide would be the new design of the clubhouse. As you can see, from what Mike told us, we have a lot of different areas that we're going to need to service now. So we're anticipating an increase in payroll. We're probably anticipating about a $50,000 increase in payroll taxes. We're anticipating another $18,000 in operating expenses. Probably, and this is a projection, an additional $68,000 in additional payroll and operating expenses. Now these are based on staffing the different areas appropriately, based on increased business levels. If the business levels are not there, of course, then we scale down and the expenses would be lower. And again, these are just projections. Additional revenue from the new design. We anticipate an increase of revenue based on the new design of the clubhouse. Some key points that you need to remember: we're probably going to have a 20% increase in the community population with a complete build-out. The new residents are younger. I don't know how they're doing it. I'll probably be working until I'm 90. And they want to be more active, and they will participate in our club functions. The new design of the clubhouse will be able to offer more venues to our residents, Saturday night dinners, better service to the pool. We will also be able to offer more options in our banquet department. Plated dinners to people that want to come in and have a plated dinner versus our typical buffet that we do now for all our outside functions. And improved bar service as well. We'll also be able to, the new design will let us do a banquet in here efficiently and also allow us to do dinners on the other side without limiting the menu, limiting the service, or even canceling some of our normal dinners that we have on Wednesday and Thursday night because we have a banquet in here. So we'll be able to do two things at once. Also, the new design and the decor of the ballroom puts our banquet operation in a more competitive situation, which will allow us to command higher banquet pricing, which will increase our profitability. With a new kitchen, repairs and maintenance of equipment will be considerably lower. Currently, we're spending about $12,000 per year to maintain our equipment. The renovation of the bar, grill, and dining area will attract more outside public casual dining, and hopefully will increase the spending pattern of the public golfer. They come in, they see a beautiful bar grill area, let's get a pitcher of beer, let's get an appetizer. Hey, this is pretty nice in here. Based on all these key points, we should be able to drive the top line revenue that we need to offset the additional expenses. The more revenue we drive, the more we cut into the deficit. So much, Paul.
We're getting there. I hope you found that. I know it's been interesting, and it's going to get more interesting.
Wow. Some more than
Put the onus on them, didn't I?
Definitely. My role is to cover some of the frequently asked questions that we've received in the last 2 to 3 weeks, and you can imagine we have received many. However, we'll put them into categories. Timing is one of the big questions. Excuse me, my paper falls on the floor.
Get more excited.
Yes, excited. Yep. Timing. Why do it now? Why? Well, the process started last year, and if you look at our club facilities, they're somewhat inadequate when you look at it. And also what we're looking at now in terms of the economy, the loan rates are still low. But if you look at any economic indicators, projections for the next 2, 4, 5, 6 years, and some of my data came from the Congressional Budget Office, it states that interest rates will begin to increase. And I know some people smile when I use that CBO acronym, Congressional Budget Office. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. But if you've been looking at construction costs and looking at new construction permits, businesses beginning to increase. Housing starts have also increased, so keep that in mind. As the amount of construction increases in our area, good companies may not be available. Keep in mind, 5, 6 years ago, a lot of construction companies went out of business. They did not have enough work. So, the margin might be very low in terms of finding good companies to work with. Our need is now, so we're looking at most likely voting sometime in November. Project phases. How will this occur? Will it be 1 phase, 2 phase, 3 phase? We're looking at 3 phases. As is outlined here, phase 1. And before I get into phase 1, may I note, Paul has already started doing some work at the community center. And individuals have said, wait a minute, he's already spending money from that $1.92 million. He can't do that. However, that work has been financed by his current operating budget. So it has nothing to do with the 1.9 or the $2 million. So that's something that's entirely different. Please keep that in mind. Phase 1 will consist of relocated administrative offices to the back courtroom area. We'll move the billing tables to the community center. Redo community center front left corner. That is what will happen in phase 1. Phase 2, expand the ballroom, redo the kitchen, redo the bar, restaurant, or 9 pro shop areas. Phase 3, renovate Welcome Center and move the fitness center. So that would be phase 3. The next area, which is very vital, and I told the committee at the first meeting, I said, one thing we must ensure with this project, we have to have input from the residents. And that's everybody. Everybody's voices must be heard. And David said no problem, Ray said no problem. I think we've done that because this is the second series of meetings that we've had, and we've gotten excellent input from you. So keep that in mind. Vote will be available by proxy or in person. Starwood will not vote, and in order for it to pass, it requires 2/3 of votes cast for approval of those people that are here at the meeting at that time on that date. So keep that in mind. 2/3. Next category, costs, the money. That's what we all love to talk about. Where's the money? The cost. Budget is set at $1.9 to $2 million. Again, those figures could change down a little bit, they could go up a little bit. It's very hard to imagine right now because we've not really fine-tuned exactly what will be done. So keep that in mind. That might be a little flexible. Well, the process here is that the architect create plans, which is currently being done. The construction manager, which is a key player in this project, determines the cost. Next, the architect, construction manager,